why there's so much anger, why is there so much hate, why is there so much aggression when the race, when it comes on to racism and race and all of that. Hi guys, it's your girl Xavier Reacts, and I'm back with another one for you today by Candace. Now we all know that Candace is very intelligent, speak her mind, and a lot of people don't like her for that. She tells you like it is with no sugarcoat, and she's just blunt, and people can't stand it. So let's get into this one. Here we go. Let's hear what Candace has to say on it.
And now for a brief history of slavery. Here's the first thing you need to know. Slavery was not invented by white people. It did not start in 1619 when the first slaves came to Jamestown. It existed before then. It did not start in 1492 when Columbus discovered the New World. In fact, when the intrepid explorer landed in the Bahamas, the native Taino tribe hoped that he would help them defeat their aggressive neighbors, the Caribs. The Caribs enslaved the Taino and, on occasion, served them for dinner. Slavery existed in Africa, Asia, and the Middle East. The word slave actually comes from the Slavs of Eastern Europe. Millions of them, all white by the way, were captured and enslaved by Muslims in the 9th century and later by the Ottoman Turks. Slavery existed when the Roman Empire controlled the Mediterranean and most of Europe from the 1st through the 5th centuries. Slavery existed when Alexander the Great conquered Persia in the 4th century BC. It was so common that Aristotle simply considered it natural. The slave master model was just how the world operated in the great philosopher's day. Slavery existed during the time of the ancient Egyptians 5,000 years ago. As far back as we can go in human history, we find slavery.
And that is so true. And as for everybody who normally talk about the Bible, from Bible times, you've always hear about slave master. So this is what I don't understand, why people keep on getting mad and getting angry and getting upset and saying that a certain class or just white people are the one who started slavery. Slavery is not a new thing. It existed from the beginning of time. It's been in existence. So to say that white people were the one who started slavery, I highly, highly, highly doubt that was the case. Let's continue.
As renowned historian John Steele Gordon notes from time immemorial, slaves were a major item of commerce. As much as a third of the population of the ancient world was enslaved. Here's the second thing you need to know. White people were the first to formally put an end to slavery. In 1833, Britain was the first country in the history of the world to pass a Slavery Abolition Act. They were quickly followed by France, who in 1848 abolished slavery in her many colonies. Then, of course, came the 13th Amendment in the United States Constitution. After centuries of human slavery, white men led the world in putting an end to the abhorrent practice.
So there you have it. So it started in Britain first, then France, and then the US. So that's the order. So there, but I've been watching a few videos, some from Thomas Sowell, and then I hear people say, no, Britain did not. It was the US first. But the more and more I dig and read into, it was Britain who first abolished. Britain was the first, then France, and then the US joined on. Okay, guys? So from what I've read so far. If I'm wrong, you can send me something, a link in the comment section or information, and I'll definitely check that out.
That includes the 300,000 Union soldiers, overwhelmingly white, who died during the Civil War. Now, am I saying that this makes white people better than anyone else? Of course not. My purpose here is to simply tell the truth, and the truth is that human history is complicated. No one, regardless of skin color, stands guiltless. Yet today we are never told to consider the murderous Persian Empire or the cannibalism of indigenous tribes of North and South America or the heinous actions under the imperialistic Muslim, Chinese, Mongol, or Japanese empires, to name just a few. Instead, we're told that slavery is a white phenomenon. And like all persistent lies, this lie spawns a bunch of other lies. On social media, I come across extraordinary depictions about how Africans lived like pharaohs before Europeans came and laid waste to their paradise. I wish any of this were true, but it's not. It's a fantasy. The truth.
Guys, straight up, there's so many facts laying out that look. The white man could not go into the black territory and take these slaves. They were sold off. They were sold off by their own black counterpart. The white man did not do that. And I don't understand why these things are not being taught. Because majority of what I'm hearing right here, it is not being taught in school. There's no sugarcoating it, guys. It's not being taught. And you know why? You know why this is kept hidden and not being taught? Because they wanted to what? Divide and conquer. If I can get you to hate that person next door or for us not to get along, okay, this politician and whosoever have a certain agenda can get ahead. Divide and conquer. That's the main reason for all this madness, you know. Monetary gain, divide and conquer. To keep one oppressed and build your... this is sad. People need to wake up, come together, love each other, and stop. I am not saying, let me put it this way. Let me get this clear. And let me say this clearly. I am not saying racism did not exist. I'm not saying slavery doesn't exist. Because it's still going on. I am not saying it never existed. But what I'm saying, we need to learn from the past. The past is past. Let's leave it there and move forward with a positive mindset. You understand? Get along with each other and try to fix. Try to mend. Yeah. Let's try to mend and move forward in peace and get along and love each other. That's how I see it.
The truth is that Africans were sold into slavery by other black Africans, and in many cases, sold for items as trivial as gin and mirrors. Whites didn't go into the interior and round up the natives. They waited on the coast for their black partners to bring them black bodies. The stark reality is that our lives had very little value to our ancestors. Here's the third thing you need to know. If you think slavery is a relic of the past, you're wrong. There are some 700,000 slaves in Africa today, right now. That's the lowest estimate that I could find. Other sources say there are many more. For context, that's almost twice as many slaves as were ever brought to the United States. Child soldiers, human trafficking, forced labor, these are the conditions that currently exist within the same sub-Saharan region where the transatlantic slave trade originated. African bodies are being sold today like they were sold then. And no, they are not being purchased by any country of white men. In fact, slavery, by any traditional definition, is exclusively practiced today within non-white countries. But we hear almost nothing about that. Just like we hear nothing about how slavery was universal until good people in Europe and America ended it 2 centuries ago. Why? Because our so-called leaders, black and white, wouldn't profit from it. Black victimhood is nothing if not profitable. It elects politicians and funds racial grievance groups. And if black Americans began to view themselves as partners in the American dream, if we embraced the patriotic spirit that holds all men are created equal, the patriotic spirit that is our real heritage, then the race hustlers would soon be out of business. And who wants that?
So true.
I'm Candace Owens, author of Blackout for Prager University.
Well said. Well put. Now tell me, what's wrong with what she said? Nothing. Is it true? Yes, it is. But why is it? Why is she getting such a backlash and base? And you know, she's a sellout, she's a this, she's a that. For what reason? I guarantee if it was somebody else who said it, the reaction wouldn't be the same. Why? The truth hurts, and some people can't take the truth when it's said to you bluntly. We need to learn to accept the truth and move on. As simple as that. I heard somebody said something, and I thought about it, and I said, if it was a white person giving this message, would it be received the same way? My son just said no. And this would be, it would be the same reaction for me as I would see it as it is. Pick sense out of nonsense. Because everything she said, majority of it is common knowledge. It's just a few here and there that I'm learning for the first time. But I would take the message the same way. I would see it the same way. And I'll stop and I'll do my research. And I couldn't be angry with whosoever is delivering the message to me. But a lot of people wouldn't. So, there you have it. It's your girl Xavier Reacts, and I'm running out of here. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Xavier, Araya's talking to you. Let me know what you think in the comment section, guys. What are your thoughts? You know? And let me know what you'd like me to react to next. Drop it in the comment section because it will be done. Love you guys. Thank you so much for clicking on this. And I'll catch you guys in another video. Love you guys. Bye.